Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Men's Garage. So, as you guys would have seen in the previous couple of episodes, getting started on the Falcon drift build. I've got a track day coming up, which I want to take the car to. I'm probably just going to leave it NA for now and just drive it as it is. The clutch isn't the best clutch in it, so putting some boost into it probably won't hold the clutch very well. So just going to leave it NA for now and do this track day, and then after the track day I can obviously start putting the turbo stuff onto it and do the clutch and all that sort of stuff. But I actually bought something for this car. That way I can do some tandems. And if you know the drifting scene, then you know that to do tandems, you need one of these. So I have bought myself a roll cage, just a bolt-in cage. This is a second-hand cage from someone else that obviously didn't need it anymore. I've just got it in the booth now. I'm just gonna start prepping it up to obviously start painting it. So I'm gonna start standing this down to paint it and get it installed today. And I've obviously got this running on fuel now, so that means this big bulky heavy thing in the back can come out. So I'm going to be removing the gas tank today as well. Don't know if I'll include that in the video, but just thought I'll let you guys know that's what the plan is for today. So obviously the old owner had this cage painted, or he painted it himself or something. Not really sure what sort of paint it is, but pretty much what I've got here is it's a soft sanding pad. It's double-sided. They come in different prints like 240, 320, Ford 600, whatnot. This is, so they don't really give you an idea of actually what grit they are. This here is like a 4 to 600. So whatever that means. So I'm going to be using these to obviously scuff down the cage, just so obviously the paint I put on it does stick to it. I'm not going to be too fussy with it. Obviously it's just for a bit of safety. That's the reason why I'm putting this in. And obviously to do tandem drifting, and you know, on some track days actually you have passengers and a roll cage is required. So that's the reason why I bought it. So yeah, I'm going to use this to scuff it down. And I do use a lot of Worth products. Worth products I find are really good. They're really good quality. This black satin spray paint is awesome for something like this. It's quick, easy to use. It has a nice finish to it. It's easy to spray. It's not blotchy or chunky or anything like that. So that's what I'm going to be spraying it with. So yeah, we'll get started. Scuff down, the paint sand down really easy. Like I can't see any shiny bits left on it. I gave it a good scuff down. Next thing what I'm going to do is just kind of blow it all off, get all the dust off of it. Then I've got down here a clean cloth and some wax and grease remover, some Prep-Sol. I'm going to obviously clean it all down. The reason we use Prep-Sol is obviously if there's like grease marks, or you know, obviously if someone's been working on their car and they're grabbing the roll cage, it's going to be fingerprint marks on it. When you go to paint it, you're going to have all marks and stuff in your paint. So give it a good clean off with wax and grease remover, and then obviously I'm going to start spraying it with my black satin paint down here. So I'm going to wear a respirator as well when I am painting. Even when you're sanding, if you're doing a lot of sanding, wear a dust mask for health reasons and stuff like that. You don't want to have breathing issues. So turn on the booth and I'll blow it all down. You can get started and cleaning it all down and painting it. So I just did obviously one good coat, which covered a lot of the pink, and then obviously I just went over it and just sort of sprayed over it so it can lay down nice and even. And it did actually lay down. This is still a little bit wet, so as it dries off, it'll dry off nice and even. But I mean, like I said, I don't know what sort of paint the other guy used when he did paint it, but you can see like right there, there's like a reaction in the paint. So it could be that he used one sort of paint and I've used a different sort of paint, so it can react. That's why I wasn't too fussy with it, and you know, like what paint I was using. You know, the spray can is good enough and it has a really nice finish to it. Sort of looks like, you know, a finish that it would sort of come with if you were to get this painted by the manufacturer. So yeah, very happy with that. Like I said, it is still a little bit wet, so you can see like it's a bit glossy in there. So obviously as that dries, it will come nice and even and look the same all the way around. And even like right there, you can see that's sort of reacted. So it is what it is. It's only a roll cage. It's not like it's a show car or anything like that. It's going to be, you know, probably getting chipped around and things thrown in it. So I'll give this probably about half an hour just to dry off, and that will be ready to, you know, I can start picking it up and start installing it in the car, which is why I sort of used the spray can as well, because it is fast drying. So this cage I obviously bought second hand. It came with all the fasteners and all the nuts, bolts, stuff like that, but it didn't come with any sort of instructions on how to install it or anything like that. So I'm just going to sort of wing this. I'm going to remove the back seat because I don't think you can run the back seat obviously when the cage is in there. You can actually probably run the top bar that goes across your head. That can probably stay in, but the piece that actually bolts to the actual tubs itself, that's where I think it bolts, that has to come out. The back seat has to come out so that can go in. Then if you want to put a back seat in it, you can just take that rear section out, leave the top section in and put a back seat in. But yeah, I'll take the rear seats out. I'm going to take the passenger seat out, obviously to try and get the cage in there. I'll leave the driver's seat in or just push it forward. Hopefully that will work and see how we go. Look at that. So I thought I'd just give it a go, try and get the top section of the cage in without having to remove the front seats, and I actually went in pretty easy, so saved myself a little bit of time there, obviously taking out that passenger seat. But I'm going to leave maybe the back side, like the back uprest of the seat in place, because I think the back bars are just going to bolt to the tub. So if I ever did want to put the back seat in, all I need to do is just take out that diagonal bracing out, and then I can just put the back seat in, which should be pretty easy. So I'm just trying to figure out exactly where this is going to bolt up to, where obviously this back, where the top bar is going to sit. So sort of looks like it's going to sit on the tubs like I did think it was going to. And then this back bar must come sort of all the way to the back of the floor pan here. Yeah. And there's like these, and then these sort of like just slide. So these here I'll just slide onto there. That's gonna obviously bolt into there and then into there. So I'll put both of these on, hopefully not scratching too much of my paint. It's gonna bolt to the tubs up there. And I'm just going to bring that as far back as I can, I guess. So I reckon this here's just going to come back as far as it sort of sits on the floor there. Alright, well, I might just drill one hole in like each corner. And then just see if it sort of starts bolting together or not, and then obviously I can go back and drill out the other holes and bolt it up properly. pretty much got the top section, front section, whatever you want to call it, connected to the back diagonal here. I've just sort of got all the bolts sitting in there with the nuts, you know, all loose. That way I can sort of position it, because the tub's round, these plates are sort of at an angle, so I need to try and get it in a spot where, you know, it's going to be nice to bolt through. It's going to sit nice and flush. Looking at it like this, I don't know, it's not very flush back here, but I guess by the time we do put the plates underneath and tighten it all down, we'll sort of bring it all together. Probably doesn't help that I do have the back seat upright still in here as well, sort of stops the cage from moving as far back as it can, but I sort of just want to leave that in. That way, if I did want to put the back seat in, this bit of the cage here can just come out, and I can leave the front section in. So I've just drilled the holes. There's 3 holes that you have to drill for the bottom plate. I'll just take it underneath the car and show you what I'm dealing with, because it's turning into a bit of a hassle, but I'll just show you something quickly. All right, so obviously you can see there's a bolt with a nut on it there. That's fine. That one there, you can just see the thread, and that one there, you know, the thread's still underneath inside the floor. There's a few different panels in here, so it looks like, obviously when we go to put the nuts on, we're gonna have to sort of try and squish this all together to be able to get the nuts on. So I might have to just get the jack or something and just put a jack under here and see if I can sort of like push it all together. Because that's what's going to happen, obviously, when we put the nuts on. It's all going to pull together nicely. So, and I've still got the other plate, which I've got to put down here as well. So I've got to have enough thread to be able to go through. All right, so what I'm thinking of doing, obviously, like I said, the 3 bolts up here, the bolts aren't coming through the bottom, so I've just got my jack sitting, obviously, where the bolts are coming through. I've got this thick bar here, which I'm just going to put on top of the bolts, and then obviously hit that down with a hammer, and hopefully get those bolts to come through. Alright, we'll see if that's done anything. Alright, so yeah, the threads are definitely coming through now. I'll just continue just tapping away and get the thread to come through enough where when that bottom plate goes on, I can put the nuts on. So I'll just stop the video here. I'll quickly sort this out and then I'll start the video again. Alright, so yeah, I pretty much did what I said I was going to do. I put the jack underneath. I jacked up, you know, around where the bolts are, and then obviously tighten them down. And I've got enough thread on there where now that I've backed these bolts out, I can put the bottom foot on underneath. So this plate here is obviously going to go up into there, and then all the bolts are going to come through and tighten down nicely. So that's worked out. It's a bit of a pain to do it like this, I mean, but yeah, it is what it is. So I've just gone around, I've drilled out all the holes in both legs at the back there, and even at the back here where it bolts to the tubs. I've already got all the tub ones tightened up with the plates underneath, so that's all good. I've got my roll cage sitting nice and firm against the back seat there, so like it had to sort of go back as far as it could. That way I get, you know, no gap through there, so that's, you know, squashed through together nicely how I wanted it. The bolts under there are still coming through, so now on both sides. The other side I didn't have to actually jack up and do what I did to this side. It was just this side here that was a pain in the ass to get the bolts to come through, so the other side's good. I can go put these bottom plates on now, and then I can just tighten up all these top bolts here, and the cage is all in. And there it is. I actually can fit the whole back seat in, so a couple of boys can jump in, hold onto the roll cage, sit back, relax, and know that they're safe when we're out on track, obviously. So yeah, really happy with that. Came out really good. Got all the bolts in the top there and mounted from underneath. Don't know if you can see them, but got the plates under there. Oh, there they are, there. and then same underneath the sill panel. So the Falcon's pretty much ready for its track day now. It's still got stock suspension and stuff in it, so I don't really know how well it's going to handle. I'm just going to go out there, have fun, give it my best, learn if I can. Like, I'm no expert in drifting or anything like that, so it is a learning experience for me, and I'll hopefully progress with my skills throughout the day. So we'll see how I go, and we'll see you on the next video. Will be drift day. So see you then, guys. Bye.